So
Okay. So you said that I heard that you were in Camp Schwab
yes,
in 1995.
in 1995, I was in Camp Schwab
Oh,
when the young girl
yeah.
was. I remember getting locked down. I vaguely remember protests. Honestly,
You were told what happened right away?
no.
They tried to hide?
From my memory,
Yeah.
we were not told. We were told that an incident had happened out in town, and we found out through word of mouth. But I felt I had never I was like the good guy that hung out with all the bad guys. Like I never had a Okinawan woman. I never had a prostitute or anything.
Oh, you were?
Like the good guy that hung out with all the bad guys, like or anything.
Oh, you were?
I didn't. No.
Wow.
And so I felt a lot of personal guilt, from being in the Corps, from being for Okinawa, for being there, for all the things I did, Y'all are peaceful. Y'all are very peaceful folks, and we were violent, young and stupid and arrogant, and took advantage. So when Veterans for Peace, when Tarek asked me to go to Okinawa at a convention a couple of years ago, and I thought he was just, I didn't think anything of it, but when it became real, and Doug sent me the papers, and y'all shared so much information, and I started reading everything, and I felt my music could help amplify, the voice.
But while you were there, you felt uncomfortable for being there, or you didn't feel that way while you were there? No. I mean,
Before?
as a Marine.
I did not feel uncomfortable. Maybe in some ways, I knew something was wrong, I guess.
Yeah.
I knew something wasn't right, but I didn't speak out.
But you felt somehow.
I mean, I didn't. Yeah, I didn't. I feel like not taking advantage of the women was my way of being in solidarity with the people, I guess.
How did they talk about that? That the protesters, all those things.
They told us that the protesters were paid, that the protesters were Chinese infiltrators, that the protesters, all sorts of things. But we quickly knew that we weren't there to protect y'all, that's obvious. But a lot of us accepted the fact, or not the fact, but the lie, that we were there to protect against North Korea or China.
But there were some you so many protesters at the time, even. Or
Yeah,
not
there were protesters at that time.
at that time?
But we didn't know. I was young. You know, I was young. I wasn't raised with a political education, and I didn't put two and two together. That the protesters wanted us out. You know, and that it was genuine. If that even, I don't even remember knowing that the protesters wanted us out. So then I would have to figure out if it was genuine. I definitely didn't know that the protests were happening because of the rape. I did not. I can't honestly say that I did. Maybe at the time I did, but looking back on it, I don't remember. I remember being blind, willfully blind and arrogant, and unthankful, ungrateful, and impatient, and hot-headed, and that's what I remember about that time.
So how did you encounter with the VFP people?
VFP happened after Tafari was born. So until Tafari was born, I was writing peace music without realizing it. I was writing peace music and trying to get in with the regular hip hop crowd, because that's what's going to be here tonight. Is if anybody's here, right, it's going to be the regular hip hop crowd. And so that's who I spent all my time trying to get in with. And then when Tafari was born, I wrote Civil I Am. Civil I Am was like a therapy album. Writing it was therapy. It allowed me to confront my demons. It allowed me to face my fears head on and name them. And when I got the urge to write it, I reached out to producers, and they sent me beats, and then very quickly the album manifested. And and then when the album was finished, we offered it to Veterans for Peace.
I see.
Yeah, as a donation. And that was my introduction to actual activism work and peace work, and putting the action to the music. So then it became real, and I went to their convention in Asheville, North Carolina. I had just written the album. I hadn't even recorded it yet, I think, and I performed a couple of songs in like an auditorium, and it was well received. That was in Chicago. So, and now here I am. I think this is 2 years after that one.
I see.
This is I just continued to, during that time and before that time, I had created a human rights record label. I ran an open mic here in the city for 3.5 years, a weekly open mic called The Vital Movement, where a lot of the cats came and showed love. And other than that, I put on various concerts and people on stages, and I got on stages. And, but all the while, trying to make music that uplifts the human spirit, the human condition, speaks to the needs of humanity. That's what I try to do, is make music that that stirs me.
When did you compose the命どぅ宝?
When
And how?
How my man James Data gave me a beat. James Data is one of my producer brothers. He, I think I had like 4 beats at the time, and there was a sweatshirt idea going around with the VFP and the VFP Rock group. 命どぅ宝, or should we have it on there, or should we not? Should we put all life is a treasure? Should we put all life is precious? Should we put them both? What else should we put, right? And so all of that made me say, man, this is really important, you know. And then in the reading, and then in the watching of the video, then I was like, wow, all the pieces came together, and I said, okay. I said this would be a really great song, you know. This would be like an anthem type of song, and so.
So while you were there in Okinawa?
No, before I went to Okinawa,
okay.
I wrote it. I guess I wrote it in October or November. I wrote it very soon before we got there, and then I memorized it, and I was able to perform it a couple of times, and then Will, I think before we got there or while we were there, he came up with the idea to shoot a video for it, and the video just happened. Like, we just shot it in this place and that place, and they used footage from other actions. I think they were all from that week, but I wasn't there in a couple of them because I was in jail for, you know.
So you were arrested?
I was arrested.
Yeah. Where was that?
At Camp Schwab, at the gate, the construction gate. Yeah. We had a crazy plan to block the truck, and so.
Yeah, I thought that they try not to arrest any American. I thought that.
I threw myself underneath the truck. I held on to the axle of the truck, and I think they were thinking that was kind of crazy, so they checked me.
I see.
I should go in.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.